Welcome to Circle Podcast, brought to you by Circle Sanctuary, one of the oldest nature spirituality churches in the United States, connecting people of nature-centered paths around the world. Join us throughout the week for a variety of shows discussing various topics, celebrating the divine in all of its forms through nature worship, rituals, education, and building bridges of community. Welcome to Urban Unwitches, a podcast to educate, inform, and expand the pagan community. Please join our Discord channel, Urban Unwitches Podcast. Follow us on TikTok at Urban Unwitches, and listen to all our past podcasts on your favorite podcasting platform. You can also join us on YouTube at Urban Unwitches. Now, back to the show.
Yeah.
I almost think that talking about mental health is the way to go today. Since, you know what I mean? I think sometimes people fake it and they fake it and they fake it and then nobody understands how bad it is. And I think it also does a disservice to everybody else, right? Because then becomes this societal expectation that we all just plow through whatever is messing with us and not acknowledge it. And I think that's I'm, working on a book about disability. And one of the things that I put in there is that I feel bad because I am kind of stubborn, just a little bit.
Un petit peu, like just a little bit.
A little bit. Just a little stubborn.
Just a drab, just a pinch of the stubborn.
Just a pinch of the stubborn. And so I tend to just go on and then I hide the crash so people don't see the crash. And so then there becomes this societal expectation that disability is something you can stubborn your way out of, which is not true.
Yeah. Right.
And so I think the same can be said for mental illness, frankly.
Oh, definitely. And is there not a more American notion that I can just pretend my way through something neurological? Like this is a concept I've dealt with a lot because I come from people so obstinate the mule comes to them for lessons. And we're back to donkeys. I was trying to explain why donkeys have been a thing on our podcast, and my two coworkers are looking at me like a dog listening to a high-pitched sound. They're like, "We don't understand." I'm like, "Well, listen to the podcast. You had to be there." It's like describing a D&D game or a spiritual experience. You just sound slightly schizophrenic. But I think one of the issues that we face is that we are such a productivity-driven culture.
Yes.
Like you aren't yourself, you are what you do. Like your value comes from the service that you provide to others, which is ironic because that's kind of the focus in very like service oriented, community oriented cultures. And America's like really hyper individualist, but we still have this weird kind of puritanical core to us. It's like we're still trying to figure out who we want to be, but it's a thing. The number of times I've seen people push through until they've completely lost what they're pushing against. Like they don't know where they are. It's like they've just lost their bearings. And it's a thing. And especially when you throw on the fact that this is the world we're living in, like there's a miasma that sits on top of everything. And it's just feeding into every bit of negativity. And like we were talking about earlier, lately I've been struggling. I've been really struggling, and it's a toss up because like, I know if I don't struggle, if I sit down, it's going to be 10 times harder to get back up.
Right.
Like I know that I know it, but at the same time, it feels like I'm pretending, and I don't like to pretend. Like I try to live in a state of authenticity. I try to I've worked really hard to move away from the passive aggressive almost truth that is necessary to exist in the South, especially with family members from the South. And so like I try really hard. Like I've leaned into the neurological truth that if it's in my head, it's out of my mouth. Um, I I don't dissemble. I don't try to obfuscate. I just try to live in that moment. But it's impossible to do that when it's literally taking everything you've got to put one foot in front of the other.
Mm-hmm.
And this is all over the place. Everybody I know is struggling. Some of my
Mm-hmm.
oldest friends, some of the strongest people I know are struggling. And the only surcease, the only balm I've been able to find is when we struggle together. It's like
Yeah.
when I talk to these people. So
Yeah. You had said
yeah.
earlier you were going to be the pagan Eeyore today. Back to donkeys.
Mm,
Just,
yeah. Well, I don't know.
I just thought I'd return us to donkeys. Well, let's talk. Let's see. So, my daughter-in-law wanted to, for her birthday, go pet a Highland cow. This was her dream. So, my son obliged, found a Highland cow in Georgia, and took her to pet a Highland cow. And
Aw.
so, I made her a Highland cow. And it will actually be on a welcome sign. He doesn't have any eyes. I had to order eyes. I didn't have any eyes. So he has eyes coming. But it's going to be on a welcome sign. And then it has these little, like a hat for winter and some snowflakes that you put on it. And this is for Valentine's Day with little hearts. And it all will attach to this with a snap system onto this welcome sign that says welcome. And they live in a little apartment complex, you know, on one of those hall breezeway things. So it can be outside. But that's the crochet I've been working on, and I'm going to give it to her hopefully when I see them this weekend. That's my hope anyway.
That is adorable. I love Highland cows. They're the kind of cute that make my insides get all tight and quivery, and I want to like make squeeze sounds and just go love on them and squeeze them and hug them until like, you know, maybe they grunt. It's like when you see a really adorable puppy, it brings my neurospicy out and cranks it up to like ghost pepper. Like I just like I love it. Which that actually does remind me. I have not forgotten that I owe you yarn for the project you're working on. The yarn that we picked went out of stock, and I've been like stalking this supplier because nothing else looks quite right. Like nothing else matches because of the color that we chose. So I as soon as it comes back in stock, it's getting bought, and I'm going to buy as much of it as I can.
Okay.
But I have not forgotten.
True.
I have a reminder set on my Amazon, so I check it like once or twice a week to see if something has come in.
To see if it's come back in.
Now, to be completely honest, the thing that I have forgotten to do was tell you for almost a month.
Right. Well, the other day as I was working on my little Highland cow, because this is not a this is a little tiny project that's going to be done pretty quickly. And I was like, what other project? Oh yeah, I got Kyler's. I ran out of yarn. It was kind of like, oh no, I don't have any yarn for that, so I can't do it.
Yeah.
I did finish a sweater, and it looks really good, and I haven't worn it. I should have worn it today. But yeah, I did finish a sweater. It looks awesome. I'm very excited about it. It looks like you could have bought it in a store, which to me is high praise, right? Like it.
Oh yeah.
It looks like something that somebody would buy at a store, especially a higher end store, because the yarn is kind of a cashmere quality to it. It's real nice. So I'm very excited about that. And then my current obsession, as you know, is Black Dagger Brotherhood. If you've never read it.
I've received pictures from this friend of mine who may be slightly obsessed.
I'm a little obsessed. I'm a little obsessed.
Like I just on a lark, I looked at one of the pictures and I actually tried to count the abdominal muscles.
Yes,
and
right.
I'm not the best at math, but I kept losing track.
It's easy to do.
It's very easy to do because there's just so darn many of them, you know?
Well,
like
Yeah, the Black Dagger Brotherhood is a series that I started reading 20 years ago. So this is a series that's been around a long time. But it's been picked up by an independent TV station called Passion Flicks. And they evidently excel in taking romance books and putting them on the screen. It's what they do. And so they have picked up the Black Dagger Brotherhood and have employed some gentlemen who are hot. And that's a minor statement. Like, you have to look it up to understand the hot factor of the show.
Yeah. That's hot, an understatement. That is an understatement of the proportion of, well, the sun is warm.
Right.
Like, well, yeah, technically it is.
Yes, it is. So, yeah, they're hot. And so I'm a little obsessed. And then I was hoping to join a membership so I could go on set next year. And they've taken it away. So now I don't know if I'll ever be able to go on set and meet the hotness that is the Black Dagger Brotherhood. I'm really sad about that.
I mean, I know how I react when there's a super, super hot shirtless man in front of me. They may have done it for the protection of the actors. I'm just, let's lean into the truth of it. You know, it's like sometimes people don't know how to act.
Yeah, that's true. Although I've seen a lot of pictures because I'm on a bunch of fan pages and I've seen a lot of pictures. None of the women are grabbing them or anything. It seems to be above board. They seem to control themselves. So that's good. There is this one picture though. And I was like, see, that would have been me. There's this girl and she, I don't know, has come around a corner and the Black Dagger Brotherhood men are lined up against a blank wall for pictures. And her face is like, eyes are big, mouth is on the floor. She's just like, I was like, oh, that would have been me. Check that out. That's exactly how I would have been. I would have been like, what?
Let's never forget the Reba story. Some of us know we cannot act properly in hot crisis or famous crisis moments. Like, yeah.
No. I have avoided, the funny thing is I have avoided any contact with famous people, and there's a reason. And it is because I like my fantasy. I don't want to meet somebody and have them be a jackass. And then back to donkeys. And then be kind of, you know, have a bad taste in my mouth. I went to disillusioned. That's the word. Yeah. I went to Dragon Con, which is a big conference here for geeks. It's a geek conference. And they have all kinds of fandoms that come. I went to Dragon Con to do the writer's track one year when Laurel K. Hamilton was there, and I did meet her, and she is fabulous. But she is also pagan and poly, of her own admission. So
you can't tell from reading her books. Like this,
no,
she's
pagan or poly. No.
Yeah.
She was so in the closet. Who knew?
Seriously.
Anyway, I went to the True Blood panel. So the show True Blood that had all the hot actors in it. And I went to that panel and I was in a wheelchair at the time because I was really sick at that time. And, but I don't, you have to go to YouTube and see what I look like because I really don't look like someone who's disabled. And so one of the actors was there and they thought about reaching out and said, cause I was waiting for the room to empty at the end of the panel. Cause I'm in a wheelchair. I can't just wheel it out. And you could see his face as he tried to process, why is this woman in a wheelchair? And so then I refused to go and meet him because I was like, I don't want to have to explain to this guy that people who look well are not necessarily well. Right. And and so that has been a bummer. I followed another actor I really liked, and he came on, and I know he didn't mean it the way he said it, but he was like, if we could just get children to exercise more, then we could, really do away with a lot of the illnesses that come from kids being lazy. And it irritated me. It irritated me a little bit. I was like, no, that's not how that works. Like, that's cute and all, but that's not how that works. And so I quit following him. So I'm very sensitive, and I would be devastated. But luckily I have lots of other Black Dagger Brotherhood babes who are like, hey, that's what we're called, man. That have met these guys and said they're very genuine and nice. So
that's awesome.
I'm going to overtake my fear and go meet the Black Dagger Brotherhood.
Mm-hmm. So I actually have had, sorry, go ahead.
They are shooting in Georgia, which is where I live. So, which is why I would be able to go and visit, just for the record. Sorry.
No, you're good. At least they're shooting in a place where they're going to be naturally like shiny because of the humidity. So that's good. Like, because I can't imagine in the filming process they ever put on shirts, except for like 10 seconds so that they can be ripped off. Like, I'm just judging from the pictures I've seen.
Yeah, they do make reasons like, oh, you're injured, take your shirt off.
Yes. It's your leg. Arm has
shirt. Right, your arm has a bad wound. Oh, take your shirt off.
Yeah. Don't just remove the sleeve, because you're in Georgia. You don't need, you're not cold. Yeah, no, it's a thing.
No.
I had a friend of mine, a long time friend, come and stay with us for a week, and one of the things, so he has been on this whole like fitness journey, and he went from not a place of bad health, but kind of soft, doughy, all that. And then he's basically just transformed himself into a fitness model. Like, he is in incredible shape. I've been very fortunate in models that I've used for my art and for various projects. I've seen some absolutely perfect specimens of the human male condition. He's right up there in like the top 3. And we were doing a photo set specifically for a commission project that I'm working on. And it had been several months since I had seen him, shirtless and all of that. And like, I was somebody who had kind of supported him through his fitness journey. So like every now and then he would send me like progress pics, and it was great. Well, he had leaned down. He had gone through like a lean phase. And he had specifically prepared for the shoot for like 5 days, just like, professional models do. Like, when you see somebody in a magazine or in a, and this is for back to mental health, when you see somebody in a photo shoot or in a movie, they are flexing. They have very specific lighting. They are sprayed with a combination of oil and Everclear to make them look glistening. Like, it's a whole thing. Like, it's like when you're looking at a cereal commercial and there's glue in that milk to make it look that white and inviting, right? Like, it's all just the stagecraft of photography. Well, I had set up this big black screen, and I was walking around. I'd gotten all the lights set up, and I walked around, and I had been going up to get my extra SD card, and I come around the side of this thing, and he's standing there, and he's like practicing poses and everything, and he's flexed. I'm just like, how am I gonna focus? Oh my God. It's like his chest was so big. I'm like, you're going to put my eye out. And if I have to lose my sight, my vision, that's the way to do it. Like, it was gorgeous. I was like, my goodness, you are just breathtaking. I mean, and also he's like a very muscular elf. Like, he is, it's ridiculous. Like, his jaw makes Henry Caville jealous. Like, could cut glass with that thing. Oh yeah, no, very, very pretty. It's a whole thing. So yeah, I had a very similar experience, and I'm never usually one to be at a loss for words, but that day we had a long moment of silence in honor of just the sheer fine that was in front of me in that moment. It was a great photo shoot too. I took probably 1,200 photos during that photo set, and it was wonderful because like I've already sketched out like 5 different pieces for that, compositions, that's the word I'm looking for. 5 different compositions for it. I've got a list of other ones that I just can't wait, and a lot of it was like doing things I'd never really done with photography before, like really kind of pushing the bounds of my skill level and different lighting and playing around with different settings and things in a way that I had never done. I'd also recently invested in some alternative light sources, so I could do different colors and contrast colors in a different way. Like I've been playing with gels and I've been playing with LED panels and things like that. So
Right,
that was a
right.
lot of fun. Oh, and you can see this little bit of purple over
I
there.
see that.
Kyler got his 3D printer up and going, and he has been making a chess set with his 3D printer.
Oh, very
So
nice.
very, very nice. And I have been like, it was a learning curve for sure. But then
Sure.
one day, I don't know, the Adderall kicked in or something, and I'm like, I can focus. So I just downloaded the internet's worth of information on 3D printers, as I sometimes do, and this thing has been trucking along since then. Um, but my big next 3D project is actually, I have been for years designing a series of masks that portray the deities of different pantheons. So
Oh,
like the
nice.
kind of the ruling family of each of the pantheons. And I have got programs that I'm going in and I'm creating them. I'm going to 3D print them, and then I'm going to do
Mm.
silicone molds and do um like porcelain uh masters of them, fire them, glaze them, all that fun stuff. And
Oh, wow.
I want to hang them through the house. So like as you walk up my stairwell, you've got
Right.
these different faces. And like I've for years I've had this idea. I want to do one of Pan mounted on a board with like beaten copper leaves. Like his face is kind of pushing through the foliage, but
Oh,
it's like
nice.
beaten copper leaves, and he's white with like the horns and the whole thing. So yeah, a lot of different projects that I've really been looking forward to. And now that I've actually taken the time to set up the 3D printer that I've had for the better part of a year, and it's been sitting there collecting dust after I convinced Chris, like it was a campaign to convince my husband to let me buy this thing, even though it was at a stupid good price. I got it, and then I didn't do anything with it because I got sidetracked with all the other projects that I was working on. But now it's up and trucking along, so
Well, that's
that's good.
awesome. I'm not,
Yeah.
I have my LARP outfit that I haven't been working on because I've been disappointed with my ability to surge anything. The surger is
Mm.
way more like I had to turn down the power, and that's a literal
Mm-hmm.
thing you can do on a surger is turn the power down.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to turn it down because it was either when you press the foot pedal, it was either no go or all the way home, right? Like there was
Mm-hmm.
no
Yep. Yep.
play.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
My
Yep. Yep.
foot pedal on my regular sewing machine has a lot of play and give. This one did not. It was go or no. That was it.
Yeah.
Um,
It's basically what happens when I drive a Tesla. Yeah. That's the thing. Yeah. That single foot driving, I'm like, y'all, nah, you keep this. Yeah. I can't,
I'm
I
not
can't, I'm gonna
allowed,
wreck it.
I'm not allowed to have a car that has a stick shift anymore.
I can't
That's
focus. I can't do it. Like I don't understand people who want a manual transmission. I'm like, I can drive a manual. I've lied at work for the last 4 years. They think I can't drive a stick shift. I've been able to drive a stick shift since I was like 6 years old. I'm from the country, y'all. Like the first stick shift I ever drove
right.
was a tractor.
Tractor.
So like, yeah, it's like I could back up an 18 wheeler. My dad's a trucker. The idea I can't drive a stick shift is ludicrous, but they believe me because they don't know just how rednecky I am. They do. I tell stories. But I listen, an 18 wheeler and a Honda Civic, those are two very different clutches. And
Yep.
I don't want to have to focus that hard on the car that I'm driving. Right? Like my Palisade will correct if I drift. If I'm over 45 miles an hour, I don't have to touch the steering wheel because that thing will drive for me. I am a lazy driver. I can drive for long periods doing cross country, but that's because I'm expending very little effort. Chris keeps me occupied. The car does most of the driving. We arrive safe and sound. It's great. I do no navigating, so we don't wind up in Alaska. It's wonderful. But yeah, I don't understand stick shifts. It's too much. It's too much.
I love a stick shift. Love a stick shift.
And-
But I should have been born, you know, in a NASCAR family, or more like an Andretti family. That would have been good. But because I do like to drive very much, and I really like to drive a stick shift, and I learned how to drive stick shifts in the mountains of Georgia, and where there are windy roads, and that's where I learned, and that is also why I'm not allowed to have one. Because I will get tickets, lots and lots of tickets, and so I can no longer.
The mountain. Yep, you go down the mountain, you get to the bottom, and you can smell brakes.
Yep. No, I don't brake. That's what a stick shift is for. Which is why I get the tickets.
I'm glad I know this now so that I'm not riding passenger in the mountains of Georgia if you're driving.
I'm a very safe. I get tickets because I drive fast, not because I drive reckless. Unless I'm driving recklessly fast, and then in which case.
But I am neurotic. This has nothing to do with your driving skill and everything to do with the fact that as somebody who sells cars for a living, I have quote unquote survived some test drives. Okay. Like I have a laundry list of traumas because of people. The first test drive I was on, I was in training. It was a 19-year-old. Okay. A 19-year-old who'd been behind the wheel of a car. This was his second time because you take the permit test the first time and you don't have to take a driving test. The second time, I'm sure he barely passed. And I don't think they put him on the road. I think he was in a little course at the DOL. Like, I think that's what it was. But he gets in there and he gets in a Hyundai Kona. And I climb into the back with my 23-year-old mentor because that's how I was rolling. I felt like Bobby De Niro in The Intern because I'm like 40 and I'm being taught how to sell cars by a 23-year-old who was super thrilled with having a trainee, by the way. He let me know that often until I had to chew his face off. And I'm like, you're making me feel unwelcome. We climb into the back of a Hyundai Kona, which does not have a lot of interior volume. We're both over 6 feet. We're crammed back there. This kid is there, 19-year-old, with his sugar daddy. 19-year-old adorable little Persian kid with his sugar daddy who knew that we were in for a time. Okay, like you could see there was sweat on his upper lip. Like this man was nervous, and I should have taken a context clue. We got onto there's this road 99. It's the continuation of the Pacific Highway, like that windy road that you know all the movies like to shoot, and is slowly falling into the sea. So we're on 99, which 99 is the place where all the accidents happen. Like you have to have some testicular temerity to drive on 99 just as a general default. This kid pulls out, immediately slams on brakes because he went more than 8 miles an hour and it scared him. So we get these little start-stop jerking things that last about 30 feet before he just brake checks people behind us. We got pissed off by a Prius driver, okay? I prayed so hard I busted blood vessels. Like it was, I looked over and my mentor is white knuckling it. He is pale. Now he's already like the whitest man in America, like, but he was as pale as your hair. Like he was the spirit of fear. It was so bad. And we were just going around the block. It took 40 minutes. Like we were late back from the test drive because this kid just kept getting overwhelmed and having to stop and breathe through it. And I'm like, we're going to die. We're going to die, y'all. This is how I meet my makers. I'm about to get real close with the gods, y'all, because I wasn't prepared. And I can't, like we do unaccompanied test drives. So every time somebody comes in, we're like, do you have current car insurance? And every one of us braces inside. It's like, please say yes, please say yes, please say yes, please say you're at least covered on somebody's insurance. And if they say, no, I don't have insurance, well, damn it. Because that means I'm going to get real close to my makers.
Oh, I see.
It's a thing. Yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing. So, fear, unadulterated fear.
Fear. You know what today is?
No longer may the fourth be with you.
No longer may the 4th be with you. It is May 5th that we're recording on, and that means it's astrological Beltane. The sun is 15
that's
degrees
right.
Taurus today. And so we just had Beltane at my house. And I wanted to tell the story about how I ended up with 20 people at my Beltane, which is usually we have around 13. That's a good number. And it's different people. We have a pool of about 50 people that come when they can, so on and so forth. So I get an invite from someone that says, hey, the library in your county is doing a Beltane presentation. And I wanted to invite your coven because we are an easy to find coven in my county. And so I said, okay. So I put it out to our Discord server, and myself and another member went. And she did a nice presentation. It was very well researched. And then we made either flower crowns or a wreath. And I made a wreath that's actually on my door right now. And when I went as an invited guest, and it's May, so I have a May crown on my head because it's Beltane. So I put this crown on, I show up, I'm thinking, first of all, that it's going to be a bigger presentation than it was, but that's okay. It ends up being a smaller thing, and that's fine. And then I meet a cute girl across from me, looks at me and says, "Are you in a group?" And I end up talking about my group. And she comes and brings her boyfriend to Beltane. The woman who did the presentation comes. And the guy who invited us to the presentation comes. And then we had some other newbies who have been waiting for a Sabbat. You have to come to an open Sabbat before you can go to full moons with us. So they've been waiting for an open Sabbat to come. So we had a bunch of them come. So we ended up with 20 people at Beltane. But what was really cool was I have been working on this disability book, and I wanted to, and have always wanted to, try a seated maypole. So a maypole where people sit in a chair around it and pass the ribbon to each other instead of dance the ribbon, right? And the idea would be that people who have mobility challenges could partake in a maypole. That's the whole point, right? And we did it, and that maypole looked perfect. Like we figured it out. We put it in a tree stand. We had a tall, it was about 6'6" was the height of the pole. And then we cut ribbon, and the ribbon wasn't long enough. That was the one thing we found out. But we figured out how to do that, how to pass that ribbon and get it over under without moving. And it was really, really cool. And one of the people who hadn't been able to dance the maypole in years got to do the maypole. She was very excited. And so much so that I think I'm going to do 2 maypoles from now on. I think I'm going to do a seated maypole, and I think I'm going to do the dancing maypole, and just have both available so that no matter what, you can participate and not have to just sit and watch people do something that you want to do. So I was really excited about that, and it was very exciting to be out in community and meet people who had never been to, the librarian had never been to a group event before. So she was able to go to a group event, and Ivy, who was the girl that I met there, she had never been to a group event either. So she was excited about it, and so it was really good. Beltane was really good here. What did you do for Beltane?
Survived.
Yeah,
it's there's been so much happening in my world right now. So like the saga of like my mom's health has continued.
Right.
And it's good. Like the fact that I'm in a weird like neurochemical place because of changing medications is not indicative of a lack of blessings in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I I'm so incredibly lucky.
Mm-hmm.
There's almost a dissonance right now between what's happening in the world and like how awful things are
Mm-hmm.
and how great my life is right now, even though it doesn't always feel like it. So, like, my mom has been taking care of my aunt for the better part of a decade, like, right just shy of 10 years. And between her and the issues with my niece and everything else, she has by and large just ignored her own health issues. Like, she's done just enough to get by, but her problems have been stacking and stacking and stacking. So by the time I bring her out here, I don't have a problem. I don't have a couple problems. I have all the crisis problems all at once, while we're also trying to help my niece get her life set up and offset the complete neglect brought about by the Florida public school system. Like, I want
Right.
to be very clear. I'm sure that it is not every school throughout that state, but in poor counties like Levy County
Right.
and Dixie County and the state investment in its education, y'all should be ashamed. Like, the state of Florida should be truly and thoroughly ashamed of itself for how poorly they are serving their people. And this is a smart girl. She's very smart. She is
Right.
she is brilliant, but you can't just manufacture information if
No.
nobody's ever given it to you.
Right.
So it's a thing. So it's been one thing kind of after another after another. Well, we finally hit a critical mass where we've got things moving, and they have chosen to move at exactly the same time in like four different arenas. So like she did a trial on a spinal stimulator. And when I say that, I think I mentioned this the last time we spoke.
Mm-hmm.
This stimulator fixed so many problems. Like,
Really?
she's had a spinal, oh yeah, she's had a spinal fusion. So, and she had nerve
Okay.
damage on both sides because of the fusion itself. The fusion was done in 2001. Every year this technology gets better. These procedures get, I mean, it's never going to be not invasive, but she was injured at any point. If she fell or slipped or something like that, I mean, she could have been paralyzed. So the fusion was necessary to stabilize her lumbar spine. But she's been dealing with pain, and she's been on pain medication ever since, which she's absolutely hated. Well, there's long-term issues with
Sure.
opiate pain medication, and
Yep.
not just the propensity for abuse and chemical addiction and all of those other things, because
Right.
we all think about that, and there's a stigma that goes along with it too because
Yep.
of that. But there's also a long-term effect on the human brain, like
Right.
pain and the long-term effect on the human brain. So when you take opiate medications, it doesn't actually do anything for your pain. All it does is it makes the portion of your brain that handles happiness so happy you don't notice the pain. It's blocking the pain signal. It's
Right.
doing nothing for the actual pain. Well, the
Right.
side effect is the chemicals that your brain would normally produce, those endorphins, your serotonins, your dopamines, all that fun stuff, it no longer produces them. And you become hyper, it has this inverse reaction. You become hypersensitive to pain.
Right.
So, like, if you look throughout the country, in the Southeast, where there is a huge, well, the opioid crisis is still a crisis. The pain medication that is prescribed in the South is actually much more than in other places of the country,
Yes.
and it's more per capita. And the reason for that is they don't have anything other than just pain medication. The doctors that are needed that can do other therapies don't know how to do those therapies, or they're not there, they're not trained in them, they haven't come to that place. So you get less happy. So two things happen. You get less happy over time. Like, most people who are on pain medication, aside from being in pain constantly, the portion of their brain that handles being kind, soft, empathetic, loving, generous, all that, it kind of goes to sleep, and you become harsher.
Mm.
Just over time, you become harsher. It's harder to be happy because of the long-term effect of how this medication works. This isn't opinion. This is neurochemistry. This is
Right.
biochemistry.
Right.
And then you become hypersensitive. If you look at diagnosed cases of things like fibromyalgia, now understand, I'm not saying this is across the board. I'm saying specifically within a subset, because I don't want folks to hear my words and intuit that I'm saying fibromyalgia is not a thing and it's just because you're on pain medication, and other than that, it's in your head, because that is a long-standing fight that folks with fibromyalgia have fought just to be taken seriously. But folks who are on repeat pain medication become hypersensitive to pain, to the point where even though they're on high doses of opiates, if you touch them, they feel pain.
Right.
It's an inflammatory response. It's a pain management response. It's a thing.
Right.
So we have wanted to get my mother off of as much of this medication as possible, because she hates taking pills. Hates it like you can't imagine. This stimulator evened out her gait. It helped her neuropathy. It knocked her pain way down. Literally, it was a trial, so they didn't fully implant it. So she had leads going into her back for 7 days. That was the only discomfort she had. And she was happy again, because there's 2 leads. One goes into the nerve on the outside of the spine. The other's in the medial aspect of the spine, the inferior aspect. And the one on the outside handles the sensory and motor functions below the belly button. The other connects to the portion of the brain that is affected by long-term opiate use. I got to spend time with my mom for the first time in 25, 30 years. She was kind. She was fun. I mean, she's kind all the time. Like, she can be
right. No, I know what you're saying.
rough. Yeah. Yeah. But it's like, it threw me for a loop, because the day we're driving to remove the stimulator, the trial stimulator, I found myself, God, I don't want this to happen. I don't want them to take this out. This is like, wow, my mom is back. Like, it was a powerful set of emotions. So literally tomorrow morning, she gets the actual stimulator put in, which means what's today? Is today Monday?
Today's Tuesday.
Today's Tuesday. That's right. Okay. So tonight I go into work, I close, and then I get to wake up at a stupid o'clock early in the morning to fight Bellevue traffic on the 405, it's literally, if there's no traffic, it's a 11-minute trip. It will take an hour and 40 minutes tomorrow morning at the time that I have to be on the 405 to get the implant put in. And then the next day, she has her first cataract surgery. And then the next morning, she's got a remeasurement for the toric lenses she's getting. And then the next week, she's got the second cataract surgery. And we have a house guest coming in for 4 days. And then the next day, she's got the revision for that. And then she's got the referral for her bilateral rotator cuff tears. And that's going to be multiple appointments. And then we've got my sister and my oldest niece coming into town 2 days after our friend from Florida moves in. The month of May is going to test my mettle as though I were a warrior in the arena. My stamina will be tested and my patience, because it is just going to be like nonstop. But they're all good things. So I don't even know how to feel about it. I don't know whether I'm complaining or I'm gloating because I'm happy. Like, it's very confusing. Like, I don't know how to feel about it. Like, I know I'm going to need a nap. I'm going to need multiple naps. But at the same time, it's all good news. Like, it's just crazy. So is there not a more Southern problem? Like, are you complaining or are you happy? I can't tell. I'm like, I'm Southern. You're not supposed to be able to tell.
Yeah, that's a Southern thing.
It's definitely a Southern thing. Also, we've had to recently sit down and stage an intervention with Mama, because she likes to use talk to text. And her twang is a little bit too advanced for Siri. The messages that I have received in the last 3 weeks. Twice I thought she was having a stroke. Like, I texted my niece, I'm like, check on your Mimi, does she smell toast? Like, what is going on? But no, it was Siri that was having the stroke, because Siri is not familiar with people who say the word fire with an A in it. Like, she's that kind of country. So it's been special.
I'm Polly, and I've been dating, and I do speech to text quite a bit. And so he asked me what I did for a living, and I said I'm a pagan minister. And the speech to text said that was a pig minister. And that led to a hilarious conversation about
Oh, I love it.
about pig administrators and what do they do, and that's an actual job. It's the person who shoots pigs with medication when they're young, that the inoculator, if you will, is the pig administrator. And so he looked up the first image that came up with that statement and then made that my picture in his phone, the pig minister. So I feel your mother.
That's like I could see myself doing that same thing with like the little avatar context clues, because that would not be the thing that I would want my picture to be, but at the same time it's hilarious, right? Like
Yeah.
the pig minister, like well, it's so funny when your ministry, when you're clergy, because the accidents that happen at the best worst times,
Yes.
that half the time they're what makes it worth it, right? Like we had two very impressive, we'll just say impressive people come down to visit, and it was kind of the incorporation ritual of our community. And I had written, because I wrote the ritual, I had written the word organism, but what came out of this Dumbledore looking wizard's mouth was orgasm, and people noticed.
I would imagine.
Like, I mean, I'm sure it's not the first time he'd said orgasm, but you don't expect Dumbledore to talk about orgasms at the creation of a community. So it was hilarious. That broke all the hero worship ice. It was so good after that. But like moments like that are phenomenal.
Yeah.
Because you never see them coming.
Well, and also I think when you're dating, moments like that tell you a lot about the person you're talking to, and whether or not your weird humor is going to match, right? Everybody has a weird sense of humor in some way. And I think that's one of the things that he and I bonded over. And we did end up going out, and we are going to go out again, as a matter of fact, because he's poly. Yes. I mean, like really poly, like not I'm poly adjacent. He's poly. And so that was really nice to go out with someone that I didn't have to explain poly to, because that's a whole thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, pig administrator.
Pig administrator.
Pig administrator.
Did I tell you that I had a poly conversation the other day?
No.
Like,
was this just
pretty
random?
intense. It was with someone I'd met through work, and we were just kind of hanging out, and it turned into, it was a good conversation. I'm going to come down on it was a good conversation. But
Okay.
there were these chunky moments in there, because I wound up having to really push back against a whole lot of
Right.
just kind of really puritanical, like things that I don't think he even knew that he felt about
Right.
relationships.
Right.
Like, yeah, there's these sleeper prejudices that people don't realize.
Right.
And the idea of ethical non-monogamy, folks, this isn't new. This
Right.
is old. This is older than monogamy. Like, human beings,
Right.
we're about half and half. Some seek monogamy, some don't seek monogamy. But when you live in a culture that enforces monogamy on a societal and legal level, it creates all kinds of problems. Like, how many Republican senators have to get caught on Grindr at the RNC for you guys to realize that people gonna do what people gonna do?
Right.
You know, it's a thing. So I'm having this conversation, and I explain like the nature of my relationship with my husband and previous relationships I've had, and
Sure.
you know, I have a lot of people who have experienced poly done the wrong way. Like,
Amen.
we come from a culture that literally founded by people so uptight the British kicked them out. Yes, that was Robin Williams from the 2005 special. I am quoting, so don't come for me on the internet. Um, yes, yes, because I made that joke and somebody was all like, "That's Robin Williams. It's not your material." I'm like, yeah, it's Robin Williams. I'm honoring the king of all laughter. Leave me alone. So anyway, we're having this conversation and it is the look of disgust on this guy's face. And he's an open-minded guy, but he's like, well, that's, to each their own. That's not for me. And I'm like, how do you know? Like, how do you know? Like,
Right.
this isn't me saying, have you ever tried sleeping with a man? You may be gay. No, you generally know that, except a lot of people don't, but generally you know it.
Right.
Polyamory is one of those things, if you don't know anything about it, you shouldn't have a
Right.
really strong opinion about it, because you've
Right.
got nothing but filling in the negative space. You don't know what the positive space looks like. And that's so many arguments in this country. But like, this is one of those things where it is fed by this deep instinctual fear of loss. Like, our insecurities and our culture builds these insecurities.
Right.
One of the big things we talk about on this podcast constantly is about learning to listen to your own internal voice, because you've got
Right.
an entire culture that's there telling you can't trust yourself. Your
Right.
voice doesn't have enough worth or value that you want to pay attention to it. So this topic enrages. It brings to the fore this righteous indignation because it's powered by fear.
Right.
And that's what I dealt with. And it was such a surprise because it went from a very light conversation. I mentioned a triad couple that I knew up in Canada. They're members of priesthood up there. They have been together like 30 years. These are not young people. This is not a fly by night situation. It's not a gonna break up in 2 months type of situation. These three men have been married for two of them for 30 years. Their trying partner for almost 20 or 22, something like that. It's decades of them being together, and they are beautiful. Watching the dance that is their lives is gorgeous, and they're unique. They're quirky. They're funny. Don't make fun of them because they're also really powerful witches and they make cursing. It would be great. But getting these basic poly concepts across, and like the idea that polyamory is not just an open marriage.
Right.
That is a huge thing too, because people think polyamory, because of how they've seen polyamory happen, it's just a license to sleep around. That's not what the words actually mean.
Right.
It's many loves. Like,
right.
you're dating. You have a community of people who are intersupportive and interdependent in a romantic sense. Like, it's not
Right.
It's not you're just going out to the club and sleeping around. It's not Queer as Folk 2001. It's polyamory. It was a 2.5 hour conversation. I was physically and emotionally tired by the time I got through the end of it. And there was still this just cognitive block that he kept coming up against. And it was because he had never spent any time actually thinking about the actual true nature of relationships. And it's funny because he's actually got a really good female friend who's been like a best friend of his for forever. And he swears that there's no romantic energy there, but the romantic energy is very clear for anybody who spent more than 20 seconds with these two. But in his head, it's as compartmentalized as Tupperware. It's just the things you don't let yourself see. And that is just the cognitive dissonance. I feel like we're going through our Saturn return. Like, I feel like as a country, we're going through our Saturn return. That's almost like the energy of it. Like, everybody's having to face the uncomfortable truths about themselves.
Right.
And it's left us with this sense of, well, what's next?
Well, I think with poly, the thing that I don't like about poly is if I tell a guy I'm poly and they're married, then they assume that I don't care if they cheat on their wife.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I can't date you. You're cheating on your wife. Well, but you're poly. No, that's not poly. No, poly, everybody knows. You know, what you're doing is cheating. You don't have permission from her. She's never going to know me. No, that is not poly. That is you cheating. And I don't do cheaters. You know, it's bottom line. And it's one of the reasons why I had such a good time on my date with this guy, because I didn't have to explain any of that. I didn't, you know, when I got to talking about Tony, Brooke, and I, me taking Brooke to the doctor, Brooke taking Tony to the doctor, and that communal, we call it kitchen table poly that we have going on. He was like, yeah, I want to be part of that. Like, people who are poly understand that this is an expansion of community and an expansion of interdependentness. And they get excited when they meet. We had a poly cookout, and it was all of the people in my polycule, which is Tony, Brooke, Kimmy, me, and a guy I've been dating, James. So the 5 of us. And then it was half of another polycule, which was a male and a female. And they came to hang out with us to see how our kitchen table poly worked, right? And we ended up having very in-depth conversations about what polyamory is and how we practice it and why we practice it the way we do. And it was really, really, we had a blast. It was so much fun. The wine flowed, and it was just a really great time. So I think that I wish people would do a little more study into poly and not equate it. I don't like it when someone says they're ethically non-monogamous, because that to me is still not poly. They make that distinction that ethically non-monogamous is not poly, and I am definitely poly. I'm not ethically non-monogamous. I'm poly. I want that interdependent creation of community that happens when more than one person is in more than one relationship. So that's my little soapbox about poly. We've been running our mouth about an hour. Can you believe it?
Yeah, because as soon as we start talking, I lose all sense of time. And just about the time we're getting into the meat of really fun stuff is about the time it's like, well, we're out of time. And if we don't keep it within an hour and 15, then somebody somewhere is going to yell at us. So.
Yeah. And also, you know, for those who've listened to this episode, we deliberately did this episode this way. We didn't mean to talk about all the things we have talked about, from ghost peppers to polyamory to the Black Dagger Brotherhood and pig administrators. None of that was planned, but this was kind of Kyler and I. It's a mental health episode. We needed to kind of just be in each other's presence and talk through general life, right? Yeah.
And I think for everybody out there right now, it's heavy. The world is heavy. It's got a weight, and it's bearing down on all of us in different ways. And even if, like myself, my world is full of blessings right now. A lifetime of hard work is beginning to manifest a ton of wonderful things for me. But at the same time, I'm still struggling because of where we all are together, you know, in this miasma of the current age. And luckily, I have incredibly good friends, one of which I get to podcast with. And I have found myself through the growing, the creation and the nurturing of this podcast. If I go more than 2 weeks without seeing Dia's face on Zoom, I feel like there's something important that I'm forgetting. There's something very, very important. I will walk away from this rambling, tangential stream of consciousness experience more grounded for the rest of my day. I already feel better than I did when I logged on.
Me too.
And everybody needs that. You know, everybody needs that. We talk about magic. We talk about ethics. We've talked about so many different things, trauma, everything that we've talked about on this podcast over. Has it been a year? It's been a year, hasn't it?
It's been a year. It's actually just been a year.
We have seasons. I didn't know we had seasons. Dia told me last time we have seasons. And that still blows my mind, because I feel like we're like pig in the Melrose Place, but with, I guess, fewer like 9s and 10s, because, you know, the casting.
True.
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
True.
But but no, I think that if you do nothing else constructive this week, these two things I will say. If you got up, if you got moving, if you did anything this week, congratulations.
Absolutely.
Congratulations. You are swimming upstream in molasses. Like it is,
Yep.
that is where the world is right now. Give yourself a pat on the back, because the best of people rarely give themselves the kudos that they deserve. And if you see somebody around you that has caught your eye for whatever reason, give them a compliment. I gave somebody a compliment yesterday and they stopped in mid stride and said, God, I needed that. And it's like, just, I mean, obviously don't break HR rules, because that's a thing. But like, we all need it, and we need each other.
Yep.
Yeah, we need each other.
We need I watched this woman. She was just dressed fabulously at the grocery store, and she was walking in, and I rolled down my window and I went, "You look awesome!" And she lit up. It was like, you could tell all this stuff was weighing her. She put her shoulders back and she sat up. People need that. We need kindness. Yeah. And so don't be afraid to be that weird person that shouted out the window. We need that now. We really, really need that now.
Yeah.
Until we can get to a place where we can celebrate like Hungary did.
Hungary. Okay. Hungary. Okay. You said hungry, and I'm like, I know you don't follow that content creator. There's no way you follow that creator. Do not look that creator up. It's not what you think. The other thing that I'm going to toss out there, because this is another conversation that I have nothing but deep conversations the last 2 weeks. Compliment a straight guy.
Yes.
Something small. They never get it, guys. Like, they never get it. Gay men compliment each other. We're also catty bitches, but we compliment each other. We're a little afraid of complimenting straight guys. We would, but we're also kind of afraid of a hate crime sometimes. You know, hammers are a thing. But compliment the men in your life. Nothing in our culture tells us to compliment these guys. They are not the stones they pretend to be. They need reinforcement. They are some of the most insecure people you know, because nobody has ever reinforced them. Give a straight guy a compliment. We need to make that a national day, like compliment a breeder day. You gave me the internet, Dia. This is your fault.
Compliment a breeder day. Well, okay. So I'm writing down key terms here. I hope you guys have enjoyed our rambling today about that started out with mental health and has ended with complimenting a breeder, because that's how we roll on this podcast. We are looking forward to we're looking forward to a few things, talking about the triple goddess, and the triple god is kind of something that you can look forward to. We're also looking at fairies are scary. Not all fairies are, Tinkerbell. And then antagonists in the pagan community is one that's on deck. And other divinatory tools. And then we're looking at bringing on some authors that have some unique perspectives. We're really excited about getting their books and bringing them to you guys later. So we are going to get back to our regularly scheduled in-depth conversations, but I think we needed this today. I needed this today.
I know I did. Yep.
Yeah. So y'all have a great day. As I say, have a magical day. And Kyler says,
hail and farewell.
Hail and farewell. Thank you for listening to Urban Unwitches. Please reach co-host Kyler Petrie and Rev Dia at urbanunwitches@gmail.com. That's urbanunwitches@gmail.com to suggest topics for shows or comment on past episodes. Please join our Discord channel, Urban Unwitches Podcast. Follow us on TikTok at Urban Unwitches. Follow us on YouTube at Urban Unwitches to watch all episodes. And listen to all our past podcasts on your favorite podcasting platform. Rev Dia is a witch for hire as an officiant, life coach, astrologer, geomancer, and medium, and can be reached at www.revdia.net. See you next time. Thank you for joining us on the Circle Podcast, presented by Circle Sanctuary, and produced for all who follow nature-centered paths. Join us throughout the week for various programming connecting with the community around the world. Please don't forget to watch for updates on the Circle Sanctuary website at www.circlesanctuary.org. Follow us on Facebook at Facebook/Circle Podcasts. We can also be found on your favorite podcast hosting sites, such as iTunes, Spotify, and others. Until next time, many blessings.